Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Nick Lazaga, and welcome to MiM Monday. This is Mickey in Minutes Live. So thanks so much for joining me. If you don't know what this show is, this is our live Disney news commentary show, and I invite you guys to join the conversation in the chat. We already have some people joining in the chat. Welcome in. Thanks so much for hanging out. Please leave your comments down below on any of these news stories, and let's make this a conversation. On today's show, we're going to talk about the Disneyland After Dark themes for 2026 and a bunch of announcements for Disney Adventure World and so much more. So thanks again for joining me today for Mickey in Minutes Live. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watching the playback on YouTube or Reels, thanks so much for watching. And remember, you can join the conversation every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. But join the conversation anyways. Leave your comments wherever it is that you listen. So, yeah, thanks so much for joining me. And let's go ahead and get started. So, first of all, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. This is the Thanksgiving show. Thanksgiving is this Thursday, believe it or not. We're there, guys. We're in the holidays. You know, it's here. And so yeah, happy Thanksgiving. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving in Walt Disney World, you can get a Thanksgiving meal over there. I know I did once. I went to Walt Disney World way back in 2019, and I had a Thanksgiving meal over at the Swan. I believe it was at Garden Grove, and it was pretty good. But some other places where you can get Thanksgiving meals if you're in Walt Disney World on that day include Ale and Compass at Disney's Yacht Club, Garden Grill at Epcot, Hollywood and Vine at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Liberty Tree Tavern at Magic Kingdom, Olivia's Cafe at Disney's Old Key West Resort, Sanaa at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Oh man, I love Sanaa. Steakhouse 71 at Disney's Contemporary, the Diamond Horseshoe at Magic Kingdom, and like I said, Garden Grove over at the Swan. And that's just to name a few. I'm sure there's other places where obviously you can get turkey. I mean, come on. A turkey leg has to count, right? You can go to any of the parks and just get yourself a turkey leg pretty much. So, you know, I say that counts. And if you're over in Disneyland in California, you can go over to the Carnation Cafe, the Plaza Inn, Blue Bayou typically has turkey. Jolly Holiday Bakery, you can get the Thanks Mess sandwich. That sounds so good. I don't know about you guys. I love Thanksgiving like sandwiches. Whenever like sandwich places do that, and it's like the turkey and the stuffing and the cranberry sauce in the sandwich. Obsessed. I love that so much. Apparently, official Disney released a recipe where it's like a Thanksgiving sandwich where you like make the bread out of leftover stuffing or something. Chelsea was telling me about that, my wife, and it just sounds so good. So if you're in the parks on Thanksgiving, go have yourself a Thanksgiving meal and just, you know, have so much fun because there's nothing better than being at Walt Disney World for a holiday. So yeah. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Let's move on. Let's talk about the next story here, and that is Disneyland After Dark. They announced all the Disneyland After Dark themes for 2026 on select nights from January through June. They have, let's see, 6 different themes. So that's really cool. Let's go through them. We have Disneyland After Dark. Let's see. Hold on. All right, so they're all Disneyland. So I guess it's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So you have Disneyland After Dark Sweethearts Night, 70th. It's called Disneyland After Dark 70 Years of Favorites. Disneyland After Dark Disney Channel Night. Disneyland After Dark Star Wars Night. And Disneyland After Dark Pride Night. So let's go ahead and talk about some of these because these are pretty cool. If you don't know, what these are is just their after hours events, their hard ticket events. in the evening in Disneyland. Hey, what's going on? Thanks so much for joining. We're talking about the Disneyland After Dark schedule for 2026. So these are hard ticket events. You got to get a special ticket to get in. Everybody else has to leave the park, and they have special entertainment, special merchandise, character encounters, and of course, food and beverage themed to each of these themes. So Sweethearts Night, that kind of goes all the way back to like the days of like early Disneyland and Walt Disney when they had date night at Disneyland. And that's just so classic Disneyland that, I think this would be one of the ones to really attend. So this one is on select dates, January and February, of course, coinciding with Valentine's Day. And so they have a Celebrate Love Cavalcade, which is going to have Mickey and Minnie Mouse, just I'm sure there's a bunch of other characters. It doesn't say all the characters here. I'm looking at Disney Parks blog, by the way. It doesn't say all the characters here, but, just a bunch of romance, right? They're going to have a new for 2026, Once Upon a Dream, a musical journey through the Disney songbook. Oh, that sounds so nice. So a musical look at love and romance featuring live singers. That sounds nice. And then it's going to culminate in a nighttime ball beneath the stars. Guys, attending a romantic ball outside in Disneyland? That sounds so nice for Valentine's Day. Guys, if you're listening, take your girls to this. You will get so many brownie points, I'm sure, for taking them. This is like the ultimate Valentine's Day celebration. They're going to have a Disney duets karaoke in the Golden Horseshoe. That sounds fun. Valentine's Day dance party at Tomorrowland Terrace. And then, of course, some photo backdrops featuring the Aristocats, Tangled, Aladdin, and Lady and the Tramp. So these are like where you they say step into the scene on Disney Parks blog. So you get to have these really pretty backdrops. I always like when they do these kind of backdrops. Typically they're like layered. So there's like a thing in the front, like a frame in the front and then a backdrop in the back. And you kind of get in between them and it looks like you're in the scene. And it's so fun. Yeah. And of course, specialty food and merch. The one that I'm looking forward to, I don't think I'd be able to go, but it sounds interesting, is the 70 Years of Favorites. Because I always like when things are like nostalgic, especially, now Disneyland is celebrating the 70th anniversary. So this is only 2 dates. This is March 3rd and March 5th. And this one says they're going to have swing dancing at the Royal Theater in Fantasyland. That sounds awesome. They're going to bring back Videopolis, the Videopolis dance party at Tomorrowland Terrace. That's classic old school Disneyland. If you don't know about Videopolis, look that up because that's pretty cool. They're going to play 80s music from a live DJ. So cool. And then there's going to be line dancing at the Golden Horseshoe. I don't know how to line dance, but that sounds fun. I know a lot of people like to line dance. I live in Texas, so I guess it's weird that I live in Texas and don't know how to line dance. But it's going to be a tribute to Woody's Roundup. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. There's going to be some sentimental photo opportunities. So probably some more of these photo ops, maybe some more of these backgrounds and stuff. Mad Tea Party, Main Street Electrical Parade, just to name a few. And then this is the part that I think is really, really, really cool, guys. You're going to get to encounter characters from days gone by, as Disney puts it. And they include the mother and father from Carousel of Progress. So they've done this before on like Disney like Throwback Night or something. And I just think that is so cool. We need more with these characters. These are iconic characters, created by Walt Disney himself. And to have them in walk-around character form, that is just so, so cool. A bunch more people joining in the chat. Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're talking about Disneyland After Dark events coming up for 2026. So yeah, Mother and Father from Carousel of Progress, Merlin, Flick, and Ada from A Bug's Life. The Phantasmic Monkeys, that's so cool. You can get pictures with the Phantasmic Monkeys. Those like cool, like glow in the dark, like blacklight monkeys. Oh, That's awesome. So, yeah, that's the 70th one. Only 2 days for that one. Um, I hope they add a couple more things for that one because that one being the 70th anniversary themed one, I feel like they could do a lot more with that. Um, but the next one that I know a lot of us millennials especially are excited for, that's Disney Channel night. Uh, that one is 3 days in April, April 12th, April 14th, and April 16th. And it's going to be celebrating, you guessed it, the Disney Channel. So I've seen videos from like the previous Disney Channel night. They have like the Disney Channel like light up thing and they can give you the wand and you can do the, I'm Nick Lazaga and you're watching Disney Channel. Bum bum ba-dum. That alone I feel like is worth the cost of admission to this. If they don't do anything with Camp Rock at this one, with the whole humongous resurgence of Jonas Brothers and Jonas Brothers joining back officially into the Disney family with their, Christmas movie and doing the theme song for Disneyland 70th, then they're missing something. They have to have something with Jonas Brothers. I don't know what, maybe some sort of Camp Rock tutorial or something, I don't know. It doesn't really give a lot of details about Disney Channel night on this Disney Park blog article. I'm sure we'll get more details as we get closer. And then Star Wars night. Star Wars night, April 28th, April 30th, May 4th, and May 6th. And, I mean, Star Wars, guys. So, doesn't really say much details for this. Navigate to a distant galaxy with friends, family, and fellow fans. For a thrilling event with impressive characters, gatherings, illustrious photo ops, and more. So, yeah, it doesn't really say much details about that one. For all of these, they have their own pre-sale dates for when you can buy the tickets, and official dates for when everybody can buy tickets. Pre-sale is typically for like annual pass holders, or I guess Magic Key holders, right? And then public dates. So they all have different dates for that, for when you can buy those tickets, since they're all at different times of the year. And yeah, so a lot of cool things happening over at Disneyland with these special events. They're pretty popular right now. I know people like going to these because not only that, but typically, they have a bunch of the attractions open at Disneyland. And, like with any hard ticket event after hours, there's just a lot less lines. So, I mean, I know people go to these events for the theme. I know I do. Every time I go to some sort of after hours or Christmas, or holiday event, hard ticket event, I go for the extra things. But if you can squeeze in a ride or two with no wait, go for it. That's one of the perks for sure. So here's another story. The Disney Drop Shop has opened at Disney Springs in Florida at Walt Disney World. And so this is it's a new store in the co-op shop. So the co-op shop at Disney Springs is like this big open space with a bunch of like little shops in it. And they always have really cool stuff here. So this new store is going to be replacing the Vault, which makes me sad because the Vault was always my favorite section since they opened it. I think they opened the Vault section for the Disney World 50th anniversary. And ever since that opened, that's been my favorite area to look at because that's where they have vintage inspired merch. Like this Spirit jersey that I'm wearing is a Magic Kingdom map Spirit jersey. This was part of the Vault collection for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. I love this. This is one of my favorite Spirit jerseys that I have. And this was available in that area. So it just makes me wonder, what are they going to do? Are they just done with the vintage merch at Walt Disney World? I hope not. So where are they moving it to if they're closing the Vault? Or, I mean, they have already closed the Vault. That closed on November 16th. This new shop is already open. It opened November 21st. And so, according to Disney Instagram, it said that this shop is an exciting new retail destination in the Marketplace Co-op, where you'll be able to shop blind box releases, exclusive merchandise, and fan favorite collectibles. So, hey, what's going on? Thanks for joining the chat, guys. We're talking about the new Disney Drop Shop. Blind boxes. So it seems like the big focus for this shop is blind boxes. So if you don't know what that is, there a lot of times Disney will release merchandise that are parts of collections, and they'll put them in boxes where you don't know which item from that collection you're gonna get. And I'll tell you, I'm not a big fan of this concept. I've bought into a couple of blind boxes here and there, and of course I play Lorcana, which is basically blind packs. You never know what you're going to get in those. But the idea that you're going to buy something and you don't know what item you're actually buying, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I guess except in the world of trading cards, because that's kind of how it works. But like when there's a collection, like a pin blind box, or I know right now they have the trash cans, the Disney World trash cans in blind boxes, where they're different mini trash cans themed to the different trash cans around Walt Disney World. And those are blind boxes. I feel like I just want to go and buy the one that I want. I don't like the idea of buying a box and not knowing what I'm going to get. So let me know down in the chat. Are you into blind boxes? I mean, some people find it really thrilling. I just find it anxiety inducing, and then most of the time kind of disappointing. So, let me know. Do you want an entire shop for this stuff? Is that something that Disney has been missing? A shop devoted to blind boxes? I don't know. Seems a little weird to me, but I guess there's a market for it, since they're willing to get rid of some humongous real estate in this huge shop and devote it to that. So I guess there's a market for it. But speaking of like random toys and items that you don't know what you're going to get, let's talk about Happy Meals. So Disneyland and McDonald's are teaming up for some Disneyland 70th Happy Meals. So available from December 2nd through January 12th, there are going to be 70 Disney character Happy Meals, of course, for the 70th anniversary, 70 years of Disneyland. And so again, this reminds me back when when Walt Disney World had their 50th anniversary, they did their 50th Happy Meals at McDonald's also. And the 50th anniversary Walt Disney World toys were amazing, because they were attraction ride vehicles like this guy. I have a few of them. I grabbed this one from my shelf just to show right now, because this is the ride vehicle. This is the Time Rover from Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom, soon to be extinct, which, shameless plug, the very next episode of the Mickey in Minutes podcast is the conclusion of the 3-part Dismantling Dinoland series, and you don't want to miss it. I'm going to talk all about what's coming up for Plaza Esperanza at Animal Kingdom. But anyways, so yeah, look at this. So all the Happy Meals for Disney World's 50th were characters in ride vehicles. This one even has Aladar in the back, and just so cool. They had like a Tower of Terror one. They had so many. I have a couple others on my shelf. I have the one from Mission Space and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That one, they're in the red car from the attraction, and just so cool. And I was looking at the Happy Meals, the pictures of the Happy Meals for the Disneyland 70th, and I was really disappointed. So, in the description it says that they're characters. They're Disney characters. And that's what they are. And most of them, yes, they're Disney characters, and yes, they're featured in Disneyland or California Adventure, but most of them don't have anything to do with attractions. And that's what kind of bothers me, because that's what was so cool about the Disney World one. And I feel like if you're going to do, something celebrating the anniversary of a theme park, then it should feature theme park attractions, right? Not just characters, but it features characters, from classic Disney, animation, Marvel, and Star Wars. But I did notice, I was looking through the pictures, and there are a couple that are, in fact, Disney parks related. So there's a Tiana, which she's in her outfit from the Bayou, from Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So like the little explorer outfit and stuff. You know, she's ready to say they sure can play. But that one's definitely parks related, which I think is really cool. See, some other ones include 2 castles. So they have one 70th castle, and it actually has a little 70 on the front, normal color scheme. And then another one was all gold, the same castle, but all gold. So I think that's cool, I guess. I've never been a fan of, you know, anytime, even like Funko or anybody, when they did toys that were all one color. I don't like that. I like them to be detailed. But that's 2 more parks related ones at least. And then there's Chip and Dale in a teacup. There's Mickey and Minnie in their 70th outfits. Chewie and the Falcon. Now I'm going to count that one as a parks reference because Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, you're, you know, there's a lot with Chewie in that attraction. And there's even a way where you can kind of hack the system before your ride takes off, where you can get Chewie as your narrator, I guess, instead of Hondo. So I count that one. And then there's a Hatbox Ghost one, which I think that's the one to go for, right? That's the chase, I guess they call it. And then there's one more that I kind of associate with Disney parks, and that is Kylo Ren in his little his little ship, his little X-Wing, not X-Wing, what am I saying? My goodness. His little TIE fighter. And it made me laugh because it just made me think of B mode on Rise of the Resistance. If you know, you know. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, so the advertisement says that every time you buy a Happy Meal, you're going to get 2 of these, which I think is crazy, which also makes me think that they're probably really, really small if they're giving 2 of them away. And you know, I don't know, they look really small. They're just little, they're on little blue pedestals, and I'll be honest, they're a little disappointing, but I'm obviously not the market for Happy Meals, right? Like they're not for me typically. So, I mean, except for these, which were obviously really, really awesome. But you know, I don't know. I'm not going to rush out to McDonald's. I'll be honest. During the 50th, I did go to McDonald's specifically to get some of these Happy Meals, and that's how I acquired a few of them. But I'm not going to rush out to get these Disneyland ones, especially when there's only like 5 or 6 of them that actually appeal to me personally. The other ones are cute, but they're just characters. So nothing special there. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for joining the chat. We're just talking about Disney news. And so moving on to the next thing, I think this is going to be something that a lot of people are interested in, and that is Mickey Mouse in Las Vegas. So I don't know if you guys caught this. In promotion of the Formula One, that F1 race in Las Vegas, you know, Disney has partnered with F1, and they brought this really cool show to the Bellagio fountains. And, you know, if you don't know, those are the fountains in Las Vegas that do these really big, this really big show with the lights and, you know, the fountains dance and everything, kind of like World of Color at DCA. And so they brought Mickey Mouse out in his classic, you know, red pants and tuxedo jacket, yellow bow tie, and he conducted the fountains, you know, which of course Disney Parks fans, guys, that's fantastic, right? Essentially. And you know, if you're a Disney animation fan, of course, Fantasia. And so I watched the video, and it looks like it starts off with the Fantasia music. And at the end, there are definitely some score beats from Fantasmic, which is amazing. And there were drones in the sky that formed like an F1 race car, and it looked really cool. They panned over like the Las Vegas Sphere and had a bunch of like Mickey Mouse heads on them and stuff. So it was really a cool thing to see. I'm not a fan of Las Vegas. I'm not a fan of F1 racing or any racing for that matter, but I am a fan of Disney parks. So seeing a nod to Fantasmic and just seeing a parks Mickey out there got my attention. So let me know down in the chat or in the comments, what do you think of this performance of Mickey doing kind of a little Fantasmic over in Las Vegas? And do you think that maybe Disney is going to do something in Las Vegas eventually, like some sort of attraction? I know Universal Studios has already moved into the Las Vegas area, right? with like some permanent Halloween Horror Nights thing. So is Disney gonna follow suit, you think? Are they gonna do any kind of attraction or anything over in Las Vegas? I don't know. Only time will tell. But now on to like the big news that broke today. What's been breaking the internet today for Disney fans, and that is all the announcements of World of Frozen and Disney Adventure World in Disneyland Paris. I can get a sip of water there. So, because there's a lot coming, a lot to talk about. So, they announced they had this big media event over in Paris, and they announced the opening day for World of Frozen over in Disneyland Paris. Well, actually, in the adjacent park to Disneyland Paris, which is right now called Disney Studios Park, but will soon be renamed Disney Adventure World, which, if you ask me, not a very good name. But I digress. I feel like that's one of those names that's like was kind of lost in translation. Adventure World. I don't know. Anyways, so on March 29th, World of Frozen opens, and that's going to be the day where they officially rebrand the park to Disney Adventure World. And yeah, that's going to be nearly doubling the size of Disney Studios Park when it's done, and it's going to have just a bunch of stuff. They're going to eventually have like a Lion King land there with like a Splash Mountain style Lion King attraction, which I think is bonkers. Like, I'm so jealous of that, not to be that guy, but our Splash Mountain got rethemed to Tiana's, and Paris is getting the Lion King. Like, I think they win on their Splash Mountain style attraction. Just saying. Of course, they're getting the whole World of Frozen, which we'll talk about in a second, but then they're also getting a Tangled attraction, which again is something that we don't have here in the United States. I mean, we have a little vignette of Tangled in Disneyland at Storybook Land Canal Boats, but they're getting a Tangled ride. So this ride is going to be over on Adventure Way. It's going to be like a spinner attraction. So like think like teacups, but it looks like you're in the boats from Tangled, and above you, painted on the ceiling, is all like this artwork that looks like it was painted by Rapunzel in her art style from the movie. And then, of course, tons and tons of lanterns, and it looks amazing. And so Mandy Moore, the voice of Rapunzel, recorded some special audio announcements, so probably like the safety audio and then some other things for the attraction, and it just looks amazing. And today is the 15th anniversary of Tangled. So happy anniversary, Tangled. I know that's my wife's favorite Disney movie, and it's up there for me too. So I'm so jealous of a Tangled attraction, even though it's just a spinner. I feel like we deserve something. And where do I think we deserve it? I think we deserve it at Epcot in the Germany Pavilion. So just saying. But anyway, so let's get back to World of Frozen, because that's like the big thing for Disney Adventure World's expansion. Although it's only going to have one attraction, right? It's going to have Frozen Ever After, which is what we have. But it's obviously way more than just an Epcot Pavilion. It's a full land. It's really fleshed out. It has beautiful architecture, and it just looks amazing. Just scrolling through some pictures on Disney Parks blog. But the thing about this, and I don't know how much people are actually going to be able to see this, but a self-walking Olaf animatronic. So it's a robot. It's a fully autonomous robot of Olaf, and it looks amazing because obviously, as you know, any characters in Disney parks right now are adults, right? They're full-size people, and so it changes the scale of all these smaller characters. And so now they have an Olaf that is true to size. And they showed a video of, Olaf with Anna and Elsa, and it's the perfect size. And what's even cooler, if you watched on YouTube, the show We Call It Imagineering on the Disney Imagineering YouTube channel, they showed, a bit of how they made this animatronic or robot, I guess. And it has like removable arms and a removable carrot nose. so it's so cool, and it moves and it talks and it interacts. It looks so cool. But other things that they showed in this video, we call it Imagineering. They're showing some other animatronics, and one of them just got me thinking, got my wheels turning. They showed a small scale, character that is like a kind of like a human type character, legs and arms, and a big round head. And it was all just, it wasn't any, there was no like skin on it. It was just a robot with like just a round or a spherical head. And, it was small. It was about the size of like an Olaf kind of character. And they showed it a bunch of times. And it got me thinking, what could that be? And I'm willing to bet that that is going to be Mickey Mouse. Because in just a few years, Mickey Mouse turns 100. And what a better way to honor the character than with a true to size animatronic of Mickey Mouse. And let me just say, I like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but the quote animatronics with the projected faces, nope, those look terrible. They don't look really good. They don't look good at all. So I think this could be Mickey Mouse. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's my prediction. They showed a bunch of cool stuff in this video, guys. A lot of stuff we've seen before, like the little BDX robots for Star Wars and the Stuntronic for Spider-Man and all that kind of stuff. But there were little things that they were showing that got me thinking. They also showed these like animatronics that swim in the water, which I was thinking it's a no-brainer. Those have to be for the new Avatar land coming to Disneyland because that's based on Way of Water, and I'm willing to bet that's what that is. But it got me excited to think of all these cool things that they're doing with the technology, with this robot and AI technology. But it also got me thinking, we never really see this stuff in the parks. They showed the droid from Fantastic Four, Herbie, and I got to see that in person at Disneyland. That was really cool. But of course, it was limited engagement. I never got to see the little Star Wars droids, which, by the way, are going to make an appearance in the new Mandalorian movie, which is really cool. I never got to see those in person. And I feel like a lot of this stuff that they're showing, us actual guests don't really ever get to see. So it got me thinking, is this Olaf for World of Frozen in Paris? Is that going to be something that's around for guests? Or is it just for this press event? Because, I'm tired of seeing things for press events, like the dragons flying over New Fantasyland way back when, or hearing about things like how we were going to get X-Wings and TIE Fighters flying over Galaxy's Edge. And then none of this ever happens. So, I'm not going to complain. I know this technology is, in the future or whatever, but we're seeing it in these videos on YouTube. So bring it to the parks, Disney. So a little bit more about World of Frozen. The story is that Arendelle is going to be celebrating the Snowflower Festival. And I'm not sure what that is. They don't really give an explanation what that is, but that's pretty cool. Over in Epcot, it's a celebration of like a snow day or something. So this is cool that they're changing the story a little bit. There's going to be a boat parade in the land, in the lagoon by the land, and it's going to take place several times a day in they're calling it Arendelle Bay. And there's going to be a new song from the same composers of the Frozen movies, Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez. And I think that's really cool. Let's get the original people back for this stuff. And like I said, they're getting the attraction that we have at Epcot, which is Frozen Ever After. I don't know how different it's going to be, or if it's going to be different. I'm not sure, but that's cool. And again, of course, dining and shopping. I think you'll be able to they say, adopt a troll. So I know Disney loves these toys where you're adopting creatures or something. I just think back to when Avatar opened in Animal Kingdom, Pandora, and you could adopt a little banshee, little puppet thing. That was pretty cool. But yeah, adopt a troll. That was pretty cool. So the other thing, I want to end on this last thing, because again, it's something that I think is really cool coming to Disney Adventure World that I'm jealous of. And that is a new nighttime spectacular called Disney Cascade of Lights. And this is going to have projections on water screens, pyro, a new original anthem called We Can Be Heroes, that's a great title. And then drones, which, come on, Disney, can we ever get drones in the United States, please? And the other thing, aquatic drones? They literally said in the press release that I read, first of its kind aquatic drones. They're going to be synchronized with the sky drones. What does that mean? Are they going to be floating on the water, like just giving off lights floating on the water? Are they going to go underwater? Like, I don't know, but that sounds really cool. So I'm not going to be the guy who says that, the foreign parks get everything cool and we get nothing, but can I be that guy for just a second? Because they get everything cool and it feels like we get nothing. But, I know a lot of times they kind of bring out this technology in the foreign parks, and then eventually it makes its way over to us. So this, if we're being positive, this could be stuff that we're looking forward to in the future, stuff that could come to our parks, or the other thing, a reason to leave and visit these foreign parks, which I want to do anyways. Paris, Tokyo, all of these, Hong Kong, Shanghai, all these great parks. I want to visit them. And actually my wife and I have been planning a visit for our 10th wedding anniversary coming up pretty soon to Tokyo. That's the goal. I need to get over there. So anyways, so much news, so much news coming out of Disneyland Paris and Disneyland, and I just love talking about it with you guys. So thanks so much for hanging out with me on this MIM Monday, this Mickey in Minutes Live. If you're listening to this as a playback, remember that you can join the conversation anytime you want. We had tons of people in the chat today, and that could be you next time at 8:30 p.m. Central Time on Mondays. And please check out the other podcast episodes that we do. The next episode coming out, I talked about it a little while ago. It's the last in our Dino Land series called Dismantling Dino Land. This episode is called Extinction Encanto, and it's talking about everything you could expect for the new land that's replacing Dino Land. And that's coming out Thanksgiving. Guys, it could be out in just a couple of days. I am working hard on it. I'm on break from work, so I'm working hard on it. And it's going to be out for you guys for Thanksgiving. So while you're preparing your Thanksgiving feast with your family, you can listen to some new Mickey in Minutes podcast episodes. So thanks again for joining, guys. And thanks so much for helping me to make Monday magical. I'm your host, Nick Lazaga. This has been awesome. And I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, what's going on, everybody?